Welcome back, everyone. We're going back in. You're going to see the rest of the museum. Welcome to part 2. Daze with Jordan the Lion begins now. So we still have to make it over to the section of Liberty. We are heading to see the Rosa Parks Bus, the Abraham Lincoln chair that he was shot in Ford's Theater. Now here's a display of Henry Ford's violin collection. Check that out. I wasn't even aware he was a violin player. It says he bought this inexpensive fiddle when he was a young man and taught himself to play a few tunes. It says that this one was the one he used from 1880 to 1900. And that is an Italian one from 1647. A couple of them, it looks like they're out on loan. Huh, interesting. So now let's go see the Lincoln chair. Here it is. Death in the Pursuit of Liberty. It says, ironically, though President Lincoln was assassinated in this chair, it now represents the life of this extraordinary individual and his complete devotion to the pursuit of America's founding principles. And here's the chair. The chair that the man who fought for freeing slaves and fought the good fight was assassinated in this chair by John Wilkes Booth. And there's, if you don't know that story, there's a lot of speculation that John Wilkes Booth escaped, that the body that was burned in that barn was not his, and that it was people from the South had helped him orchestrate a way to get out, and they even put a fake, well, someone else's body in there when it burned. Look at that chair, how it would have withered over the years. Man. Even look at the head. I mean, that's some discoloration up there. Could be from head oil. I kind of doubt it, because if you look closely, you can see some blood stains up here in this corner, or what looks like blood stains to me. It's definitely liquid. Here they have a picture of how they would have viewed it. Booth coming up behind him and shooting him. Then he jumped off the stage, well, jumped off the balcony onto the stage and broke his ankle, or broke his leg, and made his getaway. Now, John Wilkes Booth basically goes down as being known for being the man who assassinated Lincoln, but he was a very, very famous and accomplished actor in his day, and so it actually did surprise a lot of people that happened. Here's a picture or drawing of Lincoln at his bedside, his deathbed. And here you can see the other side of the chair. And here are the stains I was mentioning to you that you can kind of see up here in the corner. And my brother just pointed out, he said the stains, they gotta be blood, because the back of the chair doesn't look like this at all, and you can actually see the stainage and everything goes all the way down the chair into the seats, and man, that is sad. Now this case is full of Civil War mementos. You can see there's a sword over there, as well as a Civil War drum, snare drum, and a Union cap. Take a look at that. That is Abraham Lincoln's life mask, as well as a casting of his hand, his fist. Now this is really interesting. This little case is dedicated to Harriet Beecher Stowe, and you know, of course, she wrote Uncle Tom's Cabin. They also have her a casting of her hand as well. Now you can see here that this unfortunate man has got a neck collar, and you can see that it's basically a big metal piece with rods going upward. How creepy. They actually have it here. Now here you can see they have actually a slave whip from the South. enslaved leg chains, leg shackles. We think we have it rough sometimes. Look at the plantation shoes. It's a far cry from an Air Jordan. Now this is a late 1790s chair for the Supreme Court, or it says the Speaker's chair. Man, I'm a huge George Washington fan, so check this out. This is a folding camp bed used by George Washington during the Revolution. It says 1775 to 1780, so then you have some, looks like a dish plates and teapot and various things, but then you also get over here, they have his camp chest from 1783. It says, as the war wound down, Washington used this mess kit especially made for him on his tours of battlefields in New York and New England. Man, this museum might be the coolest museum I've ever been in now. Till I go to the Smithsonian. So in this letter, this is a letter written by Benedict Arnold, and it says here he's asking him permission to repair a bridge that he was secretly intending to allow British warships to pass through. And this is, they said, what made him famous, the name Benedict Arnold, synonymous with being a traitor. And here's a writing kit in the Thomas Jefferson area that shows kind of what was attributed to him as, it says writing desk and copying press, for making the Declaration of Independence. Now when the Declaration was finished, they sent it off to a printer, and he made 200 exact copies of it and distributed them as educational materials. And only about 30 of these can be found today, this being one of them. And let me tell you, this, I'm amazed at how clear and how white this paper still is. They've done a great job of keeping it clean, but you can see right there in the dead center the John Hancock. How interesting. Now this is an example of Henry Ford's assembly line, and then over here we're gonna see the Rosa Parks bus. Well, here it is, the Montgomery bus that Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat and made her name famous. And she is actually buried in Detroit here. Let's go around and take a look inside. And we can walk through it, apparently. I mean, they've got both doors open. Wow. We are actually on the bus. Can you believe it? Wow. What history. I mean, absolutely insane history of the world. It says, please do not sit in the driver's seat. So my brother and I were just sitting here wondering, like, which seat was it that she was in? And somebody came up and told us that it was actually this seat right here, and that originally white people would have only been allowed to sit here. So he said what ended up happening was, you would, if you were African American, you would board the bus, put your money in, then get off, walk to the back of the bus, and then you could come sit down. And she was sitting right here when she was arrested and refused to move. Wow, man. I guess that was, in a weird way, a great day for our history. It really helped change things. And Chris, Chris and Sean both, your sunglasses are now in Rosa Parks' seat. And surprisingly, they do allow you to actually sit in her seat, which I'm doing right now. And from the outside, where this person is taking their photo right there, this was the window and the seat she would have been in. Even though we did get civil rights, all was not right in the world, and they show it in this room. Things like this, and things like this, colored drinking fountains that actually say colored. A segregated waiting room. Jim Crow Guide to the USA. And this is a restroom sign from 1929. Here she is being arrested. And then here she is after the boycott ended, riding a bus once again. So look above us, you can see the assembly line at work. And over here it's showing how they put together the vehicles. And you can see right now the car is in all separate pieces. I'm really glad they did it like this. I mean, that's one of the most unique displays in any museum I've ever seen, where you can actually see how it is put together, like how everything was done back then. All the way down to the seats, and yeah, wow. They call it the exploded Model T. Take a look at that car. My brother just found a demo of how they used to change the stoplights. They would literally have a guy that just pulled that switch. This was called a safety car. It had a panoramic windshield with like 4 windshield wipers, and then padded seats facing every direction inside. You've got one that faces the front, one that faces, I mean, geez, look at that. Handles for holding on. And here we have a 1952 Wienermobile in all its glory.
It would sell like an ice.
Look, it even has lights on the back for stopping, but it certainly looks, well, that's certainly an odd place for that one light right there on the wiener dog, doesn't it? So my brother and I are gonna get some food here at the American Dog House right by the Wienermobile. We're gonna get a hot dog like these guys. All right, I opted for the New York dog, which is sauerkraut, mustard, onion, some mac and cheese, and a water. So this is the last thing we're gonna see today. We have to go tour the Dymaxion House. It says a new way of living for 1946, and it's basically a big circular airstream. Let's go take a look at that. Let's go tour it. Now let's take a look inside. Here we go. So there's your coat room, and then we're gonna go this way around into the bedroom. Wow. I'm guessing that would be the bathroom.
Yes, it's all the bathroom. And the bathroom has everything you need, including a toilet and shower.
And that's your dresser right there with all your clothes in it. Wow. And this is for mood lighting, as you can tell from watching my camera that it is changing colors. That's pretty cool, I like that. What a nice feature. So this was the second bedroom, but they said they removed a lot of the stuff so that you can kind of see how it was built and constructed, what it's made out of. I'll tell you what, I'd live in one. Now we're going into the kitchen. I'm curious as to whether or not any of these exist anymore. And then there's your living room. Dude, I'd totally live in this thing. This is amazing. I love it. And you can tell somebody's turning the dial. Look at the ceiling. We're getting the mood lighting. Well, I think that's gonna do it for us here. Now let's go see Joster.
What do you say, homeboy? You ready to go home? You ready to go see Mom and Papa?
All right, we're heading back to Ohio. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you all tomorrow. We have another big vlog. You won't want to miss it. Goodbye.